Connie with Crazy Island Studios. Are you guys all ready for another installment of Freedom Journal Friday? I'm ready to go. I got my afternoon tea and I got my book and some matte medium and some tissue paper, and that's what I'm going to start with. I'm just going to rip this all up and glue it down in random places. My matte medium was stuck shut. I hope everybody's been having a good week and is ready for the weekend as I am. I'm so ready for the weekend. I don't know why. I haven't been like super busy. I mean, I've been busy, but I've been kind of like slacking on the things that I probably should be doing and doing the things that I want to do instead, which is fun, but not always the best choice as a grown-up as to what I should be doing. Okay. I like to really jam any of my collage papers into the seams, so I often will use a card just to really smash them in there, and that'll keep them from pulling or behaving weirdly whenever I want to open and close the journal. Okay, so I'm going to speed through this because watching me glue paper is going to be super boring, so I'll be back as soon as I'm done with this. Okay, so this isn't very dry at all. I mean, it's still very, very damp. I hit it with the heat gun just for a few seconds, and then I'm going to come in with some gesso on a brayer just to push some of this, ouch, it won't open, there we go, back into the background. And then, you know, we'll add some color, and I don't know, we'll do something. I don't have to know what we're doing, right? It's freedom journaling, so this is what's next. Gesso on a brayer. Then we'll see. Ugh. So does anybody have any grand plans for the weekend, for Mother's Day? Anything fantastic happening? This is weird because my husband's going to be gone on Mother's Day. I don't know. It'll be our first Mother's Day apart ever since, you know, we've been together, which is weird. And we kind of like officially, you know, when you're in your 20s, you have your really important dates, you know, like when you got together. Ours was on a Mother's Day, which is kind of funny. It was like our first official little date. I call it, we were together for a while before we actually like went on dates, because, you know, I don't know, things were just weird when I was in my 20s. And so, like, we met at the park and hung out, and it was all sweetness and everything, and that was kind of like, you know, first kiss and all that good stuff. So that was like, I don't know, we got together on Mother's Day in my brain, and that's why we ended up getting married in May a year later. So we're going to be apart for our wedding anniversary, which is on the 20th as well. Kind of an important one too, because it's our 20th anniversary. That's gonna be kind of a bummer, right? Like, to not be with your husband on your 20th wedding anniversary? What the heck? So before I even get this dry, I'm going to come in with color and just brayer in some color as well. I'm going to use some Quin Magenta because, you know, I like pink just a little bit. And if it mixes in a little bit with the gesso, it'll make a really, see, pretty color. Yay! Pretty color. I don't think, I'm still not going to dry this. I'm just going to clean up around it real quick. I think I'm just going to go in with another color and keep the momentum going a little bit. Teal, right? Like, isn't that typical? Teal and pink is where I head first, always. So let's do that. Why not? Again with the brayer, just because I'm having fun with it. Now, if you're doing this and you're smushing the colors together with your brayer, make sure that you're picking colors that will blend and make a nice secondary color, because you definitely don't want to do this with like yellow and purple and then you just end up with a big mush of brown that you're not happy with. So I know that the pink and the turquoise, if and when they blend and mix and do their thing, will turn purple, so then it's okay because I love purple. Okay, so I don't really know where I'm going with the page, but while it's finishing drying, I do know that I want to add a couple of pieces of ephemera in the form of the feather stamp. I want to use these Gina stamps because I'm in love, love, love with her feather stamp. So I pulled out this really horrible jelly print, mostly because of the color and the way that I think it'll contrast on top of this. This is not done and it's not going to be this bright by the time I do this, but I wanted to get these stamped and ready to go. This is like, I don't know, 2 stages of a jelly print, and then I stopped because, you know, you just work in layers and it was time to stop, and then I was packing to move, and so that's where it stayed. So, that's not big enough. Get out my big. I'm ringing the bell, I'm sorry, I'm making all the noise. So if you guys haven't checked out Gina's stamps, these are by Gina Ahrens. I'll put a link down below to her Etsy shop. You can order them from her. They're incredible. This is just one set that I have with the feather and the bird and the leaves and all of these. Obviously not the alpha set, but these, and they're just so cute. I love them. I don't doodle. I definitely don't Zen doodle. I don't find it, or Zen tangle, or whatever it's called. I definitely don't find it very Zen. I find it kind of anxiety making, so it's not something that I do because, I don't know, it's one of those things that takes patience and concentration, or at least that ability to relax and do it, and I don't have that ability. That is just so not within my realm of comfort. So I bought hers, and so that I can have this fantastic look without actually having to figure out how to calm my little brain down enough to be able to do this kind of thing. So if you're like me and you need help with these kind of cute designs, you can order her stamps too. So cute. Did y'all hear that? Did you hear the snort? That's Molly. She's not even snoring. That's her happy snort. She makes that sound when she's happy. It's hilarious. It's like her, please pet me more. Okay, so that being done, I'm just going to tear these out, and I plan on gluing them to the page at some point. Okay, so now this page is all crazy and colorful. I'm going to come back in with some more gesso and tone it down just a little bit so we can do something on here without everything just being crazy, crazykins. I mean, I like crazykins, but too much. Okay, so obviously I came in with my fingers because I wanted to get a little bit heavier coverage in certain areas, and I just like to get my hands in my paint. I like it. I'm trying to decide if I want to let this dry or not. I think I might get this dry and then try and come up with some idea of what I'm going to do next. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I want to draw a girl. Now, why not? Throw a girl in this middle of this page, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna. Since I did this with a lot of gesso, sketching won't be too hard, and it's going to be a pretty loose sketch. I make no guarantees that it's going to look very good because, you know, I'm not really planning this out very well. Okay, so quick face drawn, not really great, don't know what I'm going to do from here forward yet 100%, but there's something going on. So I'm going to layer a little bit of flesh tone. I have two hand mixed flesh tones that both have their own problems. This one's too pink and this one's too pale, but they look really nice mixed together. So the smart thing would be to mix them together, right? I usually just scoop a little bit of each out and mix them on my palette because, you know, it's just how I am. So I probably should like just blob one into the other already and be done with it, but I haven't yet. Maybe someday soon. Not today. Okay. I will be mixing this. You can't see it. Hold on. There you go. I will be mixing this flesh tone with a little bit of satin glazing medium just to help me leave a little bit of translucence to it, and I can layer it that way it won't go on too heavy and opaque. Okay, so I'm going to be using a little bit of a stiff brush and just get some skin tone in here. I do have to deal with the fact that my pencil lines don't fully erase over gesso. Gesso does not erase well. Also, the wet paint is going to pull a little bit from the pencil lines because, you know, graphite is water soluble. So just going to fill in her face real quick, and I'm going to speed through the rest of this, but I'm just going to continue filling in her face, leaving some of that undercolor and such to show through because I like it. And I'll be back whenever I'm done with this. Okay, so I'm not going to make this perfect in any way. I'm going to actually leave a lot of that color showing through. I'm going to be using a little bit of a dark brown. This is a Van Dyke brown hue to mix just a little tiny bit with my flesh tone that I have already to create a shading tone that I can use to add a little bit of shading to this. And I'll speed through this too. I'll be right back when I'm done. Okay, so that was kind of a whole mess of stuff I was doing there, just laying down color. I'm starting to like these girls with a little bit deeper skin tone than my usual really pasty girls, but I started realizing that I was going way too far with the skin tone and covering up everything, so that's why you saw me go back into it with the baby wipe and get some of that out of there, because I wanted it, you know, I wanted to see this odd color from underneath of her. And I'm just going back in to sketch back in some of the details that I lost while I was doing that, and redefine a little bit of her mouth and around her eyes. And then I'm going to come in with some colors, and I do need to like give her some eyebrows just a little bit. Those are not great, are they? My eyebrows never are. I hate eyebrows. Colors for the eyes. What colors? I think I might... I can't leave them because there's too much white, but I think I'm going to go in with some water-soluble crayons for the eyes. I think that'll be nice. And for those of you who don't know, these are Neo Color 2s. They are the bomb water-soluble watercolor crayons. Yeah, I like them a lot. And I might use this to do a lot of her face. I need a smaller brush. Hold on. Oh wait, I have just one. Ugh. So just activating these with a wet brush. Molly's in full protective mode. Can you hear her? Barking at nothing. Squirrels probably. Okay. Alrighty, so bright blue eyes, aren't those? And I think we'll just go ahead and keep going and do the lips also. Okay, so I like that. That's nice. Obviously I couldn't speak while doing that for some reason because no words came out. I don't know. I like that so far. I'm going to sketch back in a little bit of her eyelid here. I like pencil on top of acrylic and mixed in. I don't know. I just like it. I do want to get just a little touch of brown happening in the eyebrows mixed with that pencil. So I'm going to just grab some of the color with the brush. There we go. A little bit more human-esque. Not that we're going for realistic, obviously. Okay, so next we should get just a little touch. I have pencil in here in the corner of her eye. And maybe a fresh outline. And just a little dab of pink into the corner of the eye as well. I lost my brush. Seriously? Ah, there it is. Yeah, I'm smart. Just a little bit right there in the corner of the eye. And we've got to get some white paint in here and some black paint in here to finish off these eyes a little better. Okay, so I totally zoned out while I was working on the face, because that kind of happens sometimes. I just get into doing something and I forget that I'm hanging out with you guys and I'm supposed to be talking to you. So I used my little blending stump to work on some shading, did some coloring in whatever parts I did. I can't even remember now. I was just doing stuff. Is that bad? That might be bad, but I can't help it. It just kind of happens that way for me sometimes. That happened to you? You just start painting and forget, and you know, it's that comfortable silence when you're hanging out with a friend and you're both arting, right? That's kind of where I'm hoping we were at. Comfortable silence. Now I have to decide what color I want her hair to be. What are we thinking, Claudia? I'm thinking like crazy red, orange craziness. Teal would be good, but I always do purple and teal, and I don't know, I'm looking at this here. Really bright red, scarlet, orangish looking red. I don't know, let's just see what happens, huh? That's kind of pretty. And her hair just kind of crazy and all over the place, so just play with the neo colors some more. Okay, so I'm being quiet again. I don't know what the deal is today. If you haven't used neo colors, I know I mentioned they're the best. They're actually pretty awesome. You can activate these with water, or you can activate them with clear mediums, which is what I'm going to do today, because I want to be able to collage on top of her hair, stamp on her hair, things like that. So I want to make sure that I have that availability to me. So I'm adding in this carmine color, which is kind of a pinky, bright pinky color. And I'll be adding in some other stuff, I'm sure, to give her some streaks and stuff. But first, I'm going to kind of focus on just getting her hair colored in. I kind of like the red on this background. So, matte medium. My matte medium is really thick in my little jar, so I'm going to just squirt some out from my bottle. And I normally don't use my good brushes with mediums, but for the hair colors and such, I kind of feel like you have to. So I will just be like super careful around her face, and I'll be super careful with my brush and make sure that I go wash it out really well as soon as I'm done doing this, so that I don't end up with stiff, terrible bristles from having used my brush in matte medium. Okay, so just going to color in all of the hair. I'll probably speed through this part and I'll be back in just a minute. Ooh, it's pretty hair. It's pretty hair. Okay, I'm going to go clean my brush really good, get this dry with the heat gun, and then we'll be back to do some more.